Thanks for joining me on About Alberta Tech, which is focused on introducing Alberta tech companies to Albertans. Our goal is to share the innovation and diversity that exists in this province in quick bites. My name is Lenora Thomas, and today I'm joined by Anne Chong, CEO of Visualeyes. Thanks for joining me, Anne.
It's nice to be here.
So let's start with some background on you. How did you get into tech?
So my story is probably different than many. I actually come from a family of engineers, and both my mom and dad are engineers. So tech has always been part of my life. The idea of not using tech is foreign to me, even though I'm of a generation that it wasn't common practice for that to happen. So in high school, you know, we had computers in high school, but most people didn't have computers at home. I had two. Mm-hmm. There were two in the house. And so, you know, that was just who we were. And my dad got to program on one of the first computers at the University of Toronto, which was punch cards back in the day. And he still had his punch cards from the programming he did. So tech, as I say, has always been part of my life. In terms of professionally, I actually went to the University of Toronto to study engineering science. And I thought I was going to be an environmentalist. And that kind of didn't work out, which is typical these days. And I met my husband, and my husband was working on his fourth degree and was a professional student. And he was doing some contract programming on the side at the time. And he was looking for a project. And that's sort of where Visualeyes started. Yeah, I love what we do with Visualeyes, and I've never looked back. And Visualeyes embraces tech. So here I am. I've embraced tech too.
Excellent. So let's talk about what Visualeyes does.
So Visualeyes is a full functioning practice management software for the eye care industry. So most of our clients are optometrists. So the same place where you got your glasses, get your eyes tested, those are our clients. And they are straight across Canada, coast to coast, and we do everything for them, from booking your appointment, helping you order your glasses and tracking all the paperwork related to that, your eye exam, interfacing with all the equipment for your eye exam. Yeah, just everything end to end. And it's really about streamlining the practices and make them run as smoothly as possible is sort of our goal. And we do everything in-house. So we have developers who develop and do data conversions. We have sales and training team that does the implementation and training. And then obviously we have a top-notch support team that helps when things don't quite go as expected. And so that whole team is under the roof here in Red Deer.
Oh, wow. And the fact that it's in Red Deer is amazing. So how long has Visualeyes been around then?
So my husband started the company back in 1998. So that was, 96. My goodness, I don't even. Yes, started in 96. At the time, his brother is an optometrist, and he was in Vancouver, and he was an associate at a clinic. And their clinic was running a DOS-based system, and Windows had just released. So remember, this is 96, so Windows 95 is just in its infancy, right? And that's the first time we really see Windows in a business environment. And so his owners had said, you know, can you see what you can find for Windows-based solutions? Because it'd been around for about a year, and there was nothing. And so Glenn at the time was doing contract programming, and he's like, would you be interested? And so it was a perfect match. And so Glenn we were in Toronto. Glenn flew out to Vancouver, met with a group of 10 optometrists who became our initial customers. And so they helped us develop the software. So Glenn did all the programming, but he would watch how it was used in their clinics and make modifications as he went. It was actually kind of funny. If you talk to him, he will talk about, you know, programming all night, going into the clinic in the morning, giving them a new version. He'd help the girls as they were getting started for the day, and then he would go take a nap in one of the done back rooms. They would continue to work, and then he'd repeat for the week or so that he was there. So I mean, it was lots of hard work and working hand in hand with our clients to make it as efficient as possible. And that's always been sort of a guiding principle, is make it efficient. Not computerization for the sake of computerization. It needed to have a purpose to be there.
Very key. Okay, and so started in Toronto. How did you end up in Alberta?
So I graduated 2 years after we started the business. And at the time, because those initial clients were all in BC, a lot of our clinics were in BC, and we were done with Toronto. You know, we went there, we did our education there, but we were done with Toronto. We were looking for something different. And so we kind of looked across Canada and went, okay, where do we want to settle? Where do we want to be? And at the time, Alberta was highly fiscally responsible. So they were balancing their budget. They were wanting to diversify out of oil field and support small business. It was very pro-business. And fiscally responsible. And so it was just a natural choice for us to move here. So we actually moved from Toronto to Elnora. So there used to actually be a tech company in Elnora, Alberta. So for those of you who don't know where Elnora is, it's a small town, 360 people. 2 people and a dog moved out when we moved in, and so 2 people and a dog moved in. So it's kind of funny. So no change in population when we moved to Elnora, but unfortunately we couldn't hire people there, and we couldn't get high-speed internet when it did become available. And so we did end up moving into Red Deer eventually.
Okay, that's very, very neat in terms of transitions to go from Toronto to Elnora and then finally end up in Red Deer. Okay. And so you guys have been around since the late 90s. What are you growing towards now?
So we still support independent Canadian optometrists and opticals. And we love that industry. It's a stable industry, and it's supported us well. We go slow and steady is our motto. So we want to make sure that we have the best possible experience for each of our customers as we onboard them, which means that we need the personalized touch. And so we're slow and steady, and that's us. We're here for the long haul. We've got clients that have been with us for over 24 years. So, you know, it's worked for us. And
definitely.
Our oldest staff has been with us for 16 years. Which is crazy.
That is impressive.
Yeah, we love it. We have a number of staff who've been with us over 10 years.
That speaks to having a great culture. Okay, and so I have to ask, just because, I mean, when you started, Windows was just coming out. Obviously, there's been a lot of change in the industry. How do you keep up with the ongoing changes in the industry and the changes in the integrations to all the machines that go along with optometry?
And so that, of course, has grown as the technology has grown. I mean, when we first started, we didn't do examination. It took us 4 years before we were able to fully do examinations. And part of that was delayed to find the right customer to beta test that, because that's a big deal. But we integrate with all those little pieces of equipment that's in your eye doctor's office. So, you know, the hot air balloon that goes in and out of focus, or the auto refractor, they call it. You know, and now there's a lot more 4-opters, which is better, 1 or 2. A lot of those have become computerized, and so we can integrate both ways with those. But now we're actually seeing more B2B integration as well, which has been very exciting. So I told you I love streamlining processes and making sure that things are going well that way. Well, being able to communicate B2B with businesses is awesome. So they can now electronically send your glasses order to their lab without having to fax and have people double enter and all of that kind of stuff. So there's lots of cool things that are coming, and they continue to grow in the industry. So it's been exciting.
That is exciting. Ooh, okay. And so what else do you think our community should know about you and Visualeyes?
We're in Red Deer, and if you are a driven person and are looking for a job, we're always looking for driven people. As I said, we have staff who've been here for a long time, and we take care of our staff. We love locals who are driven and want to help a customer do the best that they can be. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure.